Russia hoax fallout alert. A Democrat whistleblower is tearing the roof off a scandal that's dragging Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell into the spotlight. And the FBI just handed Schiff a humiliating blow. See, Adam Schiff thought he had Trump cornered. He thought he had him in checkmate. Turns out, he was playing the wrong game. And it's already over. Meanwhile, over on CNN, chaos erupts as pundits melt down over President Trump's bold move to secure Washington, D.C. In a twist only Trump could pull off, he's managed to get the left to go to bat for crime. Then back in Texas, Democrats aren't just throwing tantrums over redistricting, they're enraging flood victims by blocking crucial aid. How their political stunt is now blowing up in their faces. Karma is a beautiful thing to watch. We've got the evidence, the video, and the hard-hitting facts. This isn't just another news cycle, it's a reckoning. Slimy Adam Schiff, he thought he could pull a fast one on the American people, but his smug arrogance and sneaky tricks, they're about to come crashing down. He has been hiding in the shadows for a reason, because the spotlight, not so friendly when the truth starts to surface. Now, before we break down the explosive evidence just uncovered by Kash Patel, let's rewind and watch Schiff practically put the final nail in his own coffin.
You've said on more than one occasion that you've seen ample evidence of the Trump campaign's Russia collusion. Last March, you said you had more than circumstantial evidence of treasonous collusion with Russia.
I've certainly said that there's ample evidence of collusion.
Can you agree that there has been no evidence of collusion, coordination, or conspiracy that has been presented thus far between the Trump campaign and Russia?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy.
But we do know this. The Russians offered help. The campaign accepted help. The Russians gave help, and the president made full use of that help.
Now we see why Schiff was so terrified of Kash Patel's confirmation. He knew that Kash would blow the lid off his dirty secrets, exposing the lies, the illegal leaks, and exactly why Schiff is utterly unfit for office. Remember when Schiff tried to trash Kash? Watch this.
This political hack does not deserve to be in this building. He can't do the job. He won't protect the public. He will misuse the resources of the Bureau. He will weaponize it against the president's political opponents rather than protecting the safety, the public safety of the American people.
Honestly, for a second there, it sounded like Schiff was just describing himself. And now the panic makes perfect sense. A Democrat whistleblower just dropped a bombshell, revealing that Adam Schiff, yes, the Mr. Trust me, I've seen the evidence, personally greenlit the leaking of classified info in a desperate attempt to smear President Trump. Shocking? Not really. Illegal? Potentially. We're talking Espionage Act territory. And guess who else might be in the mix? Eric Swalwell, the guy best known for dating a Chinese spy and still landing a seat on the House Intelligence Committee. Let's start with Schiff.
Listen, this whistleblower literally sat in a meeting, he tells the FBI, where Adam Schiff authorized the leaking of classified secrets to dirty up Donald Trump and to try to build towards either a select committee in Congress or a special prosecutor. This whistleblower was a career intelligence officer. He had worked for the House Intelligence Committee, Democrat staff for a dozen years when he came forward to the FBI. He gave 4 interviews. He gave very specific information to the FBI, and nothing happened. Why? Because the Justice Department simply decided to take a pass.
And in one of those FBI sit-downs, the whistleblower warned that they were targeting Lieutenant General Michael Flynn as part of a broader anti-Trump takedown. It wasn't oversight. It was a political hit job. Now, the whistleblower didn't stop there. He also fingered Swalwell as another leaker. Yes, the same Swalwell who had to awkwardly explain his relationship with Chinese operative Fang Fang. Now, at this point, it's less Intel Committee and feels more like International Drama Club. Here's the kicker, though. The whistleblower says he was fired for not showing enough party loyalty after raising red flags about the leak scheme. That's the Democrat strategy, pretty much in a nutshell. Play dirty or you get purged. Now, Kash Patel has passed these documents on to Congress, and he wrote this on X, quote, "We found it, we declassified it. Now Congress can see how classified info was leaked to shape political narratives and decide if our institutions were weaponized against the American people. And it looks like the curtain is just starting to rise." Watch this.
This is the first of several major leak investigations we're going to see over the next several days. You're going to see other major people that were clearly identified by the FBI as having leaked classified secrets. Their own staff turned them in when interviewed by the FBI. Nothing again happened. It's a common pattern. The question now is, in Donald Trump's Justice Department, does that dynamic change?
Turns out the real collusion wasn't in Moscow. It was hiding in plain sight on Capitol Hill. Let's move to this. Obviously, if there are any developments, I will bring them to you. In the meantime, let's talk about the Democrats who are having a full-blown live TV meltdown over Donald Trump doing the unthinkable, fighting crime. This clip made my day. I hope you enjoy it. Roll it.
Then you know Memphis was one of the murder capitals of the world.
Yeah.
And how come you're not calling for Donald Trump to send National Guard troops in there?
Because I also understand the laws, and I understand that it's different in Washington, D.C., as it was
what about New
explained
York?
by Joey.
Wait. He said he wants to wait. He said he wants to also move this little experiment here of taking over cities and police departments to New York, Chicago,
It's amazing
Baltimore.
how much you guys get mad about fighting crime.
So no, don't change the subject. Nobody's getting mad about fighting. Wait, time out. Let me finish. Nobody's getting mad about fighting crime. I come from a law enforcement family. My grandfather was the captain of the police department for 40 years in my hometown. My husband was a federal officer. I, unlike you guys, actually support federal law enforcement officers.
Doesn't sound like it.
And doesn't sound like it?
I'm sorry. You're mad at Donald Trump for enabling.
You're okay with Donald Trump pardoning 1,600 January 6th officers that almost killed police officers. I'm not.
Hold on.
So don't conflate the
Joey
issues.
make a legal
don't ever
point.
question my support for
I want to
law
let
enforcement.
Joey.
Trump moves to clean up crime in D.C., and the left loses it because clearly the real threat isn't the criminals, it's the guy trying to stop them. I mean, I'm speechless at this point. CNN, they're not the only ones losing it. Democrats, they are melting down. They are going full toddler in a toy aisle over Trump's plan to restore law and order. And the hypocrisy, it is next level. You know I've got the receipts. And yes, this is going to be fun. Let's start with Gavin Newsom, who never misses a chance to toss around the word dictator when Trump does anything effective. Here's what he posted, quote, "He was just getting warmed up in Los Angeles. He will gaslight his way into militarizing any city he wants in America. This is what dictators do." Ah, yes, because bringing in the National Guard to back up ICE and stop violent crime is apparently dictatorship now. Got it. But Gavin, didn't you do the same exact thing? Yeah, you did. Let's rewind to January 14th, 2021, just 1 week before Biden's inauguration, when General Newsom took to the podium and said this.
Let me be clear. There will be no tolerance for violence. That's why today, along with the CHP and Office of Emergency Services, I've activated the California National Guard to support the CHP to enhance security with an initial deployment of up to 1,000 Guard members to protect critical state infrastructure in and around the state capitol. Also today, we're standing up temporary security perimeter around the Capitol. We'll, of course, share additional information and additional measures that we're taking in the coming days.
Yep, he sent 1,000 Guard troops to the California Capitol just in case and kept them standing outside until May. So when Trump protects the Capitol, it's tyranny. When Newsom does it, it's responsible leadership. I mean, the hypocrisy is not even subtle anymore. But hey, thanks, Governor, for documenting it all on X so we have the receipts. All right, hypocrite number 2, Nancy Pelosi. She had the audacity to write on X, quote, "Donald Trump delayed deploying the National Guard on January 6th when our Capitol was under violent attack and lives were at stake. Now he's activating the D.C. Guard to distract from his incompetent mishandling of tariffs, healthcare, education, and immigration, just to name a few blunders." Former Capitol Police Chief Stephen Son, he fired back at Pelosi, writing this blistering message. He said, quote, "Ma'am, it is long past time to be honest with the American people. On January 3rd, I requested National Guard assistance, but your Sergeant at Arms denied it. Under federal law, I was prohibited from calling them in without specific approval. That same day, Carol Corbin at the Pentagon offered National Guard support, but I was forced to decline because I lacked the legal authority. On January 6th, while the Capitol was under attack and despite my repeated calls, your Sergeant at Arms again denied my urgent request for over 70 agonizing minutes, running it up the chain for your approval. When I needed assistance, it was denied. Yet when it suited you, you ordered fencing topped with concertina wire and surrounded the Capitol with thousands of armed National Guard troops." End quote. Now, Pelosi calling out Trump over the National Guard is like a fox blaming the farmer for the missing chickens. She blocked the help rewrote the story, and now hopes no one remembers. If gaslighting were an Olympic sport, Pelosi would definitely have more gold medals than Michael Phelps. But here's the thing. She didn't just spin the narrative. She accidentally told the truth. If you haven't seen the moment Pelosi took responsibility for securing the Capitol on January 6th, here it is.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
That is not a question of how they had. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
So she takes responsibility, but blames Trump anyway. Classic Pelosi. Admit nothing, deny everything, and if cornered, just rewrite the script. You know the crime is bad, though, when Morning Joe says this.
I will just go back to the fact that, you know, the people that are cheering this on privately are not like right-wing Republicans, are not MAGA people. A lot of our friends are in the media, and also Democrats that worked on Joe Biden's campaign, that worked on other campaigns, that are saying, yeah, I'd like to feel safe walking around this city. If the federal government can be a positive partner in keeping the streets safe, while, again, forming a partnership with the D.C. police and not taking over, then at least the people I've spoken with that live in D.C. day in, day out, see this as a positive step.
And in true Democrat fashion, Hakeem Jeffries, he tells you not to believe your lying eyes. He wrote, quote, "Violent crime in Washington, D.C. is at a 30-year low. Donald Trump has no basis to take over the local police department and zero credibility on the issue of law and order. Get lost." Okay, two things here. One, a DC police commander is under investigation for allegedly doctoring crime stats in his district. Michael Pulliam was put on paid leave in mid-May, just a week after he filed a complaint against an assistant chief. Meanwhile, the police union accuses the department of cooking the books to make violent crime magically drop. So much for Democrat outrage. It might come back to bite them once the investigation wraps up. And if DC is really so safe, Hakeem, then why are stores taking desperate measures to fight crime?
Starting today at 12 giant grocery stores in D.C. and Maryland. If you have a bag over 14 inches, you cannot take it inside the store. So what does that look like? Here's a backpack, 14 inches. This one can't go in. Also, if you're under 18 years old, you cannot go into the store after 6 p.m. without an adult. Giant store leaders say it is all because of thieves.
If Democrats think crime stats are down, they are living in a fantasy world.
Down from what? If we had the fourth largest homicide rate, highest homicide rate in the country 2 years ago, all of a sudden it goes down. People want to pat themselves on the back? No way. Talk to any of the crime victims. I was just at a college a couple weeks ago where I had photos of young kids who were victims of homicides, of shootings, and it happens over and over again. It's not okay because it's down from last year. It's bad. This is the nation's capital.
She has a valid point, and we know by now that only Donald Trump could propose cleaning up crime and somehow make the left yell, "No thanks, we like it dirty."
D.C. is our home. You can't have it wrong. D.C. is our home. You can't have it wrong.
Translation? Sure, we've got crime, but it's our crime. I mean, you can't even parody this because they do it themselves. Another heated battle playing out right now, the redistricting showdown in Texas. House Republicans, they have tried 9 times now to reach quorum, but Democrats, they're still hiding out, refusing to show up for work. But here's what they don't want you to focus on. While they're off staging a political stunt, they're also blocking a vote on disaster relief, critical flood warning measures meant to protect communities like Kerrville, where a devastating flash flood recently took the lives of over 130 people. One lawmaker putting it this way.
I just want to be able to do my job, vote on the floor. We have so many victims in the Kerrville Valley that need assistance, and that's what's frustrating to me.
it doesn't look like they're really working for the people of Texas. I mean, the DEMS stunt is backfiring spectacularly, by the way. They want to cry foul about gerrymandering in Texas, but all they have done is shine a national spotlight on the states where they've been rigging maps for years. It's almost poetic. In trying to play the victim, they expose their own corruption. This is one of the most satisfying political backfires I have ever seen. And Texans, the very people Democrats claim they're fighting for, they're about to be furious that life-saving flood relief was used as a pawn in this pathetic game. Now, speaking of backfiring, Jake Tapper over at CNN, he walked right into one when he tried to nail Governor Greg Abbott with a gotcha question. It didn't go quite as planned. Take a look.
Your state had a congresswoman, Kay Granger, who tragically developed dementia, and then in the middle of her, I guess, second year in office, in her final term, she and her family just checked her into a dementia center in Texas, and nobody represented that congressional district for like 6 to 8 months or something. And I don't recall you saying anything then.
Well, I have the authority to apply the Texas Constitution to these members of the Texas House of Representatives. With regard to members of Congress, that's going to be up to the congressional delegation and to the federal laws of which the state would have no control over.
Jake came out swinging and then walked away with a civics lesson. So next time, Jake, maybe you want to brush up on state versus federal law before going toe-to-toe with the governor. Then there's the media, who just got schooled on economics today. After months of doom and gloom hype over the tariffs and inflation, guess what? The July inflation report surprised everyone, dropping slightly and holding steady at 2.7%, beating the predicted 2.8%.
Even I'm a little surprised by that, the fact that we have not seen the inflation. And you're right, all of the experts said, oh, we're going to have a big burst of inflation. These are the same people, by the way, Sandra, who said that we were going to have a Great Depression if Trump won the election. And you look at the economy now, and I love this number. Inflation is now running at maybe 2 to 2.5%. That's the sweet zone. We've got a booming stock market. I think the jobs market is going to get better as these tax cuts kick in. So not a lot to complain about. This is a businessman who's running our economy and our government like it's a business.
Now, there are also plenty of economic indicators heating up right now, including rising wages, all under President Trump's leadership. The White House, they went out this morning taking a well-deserved victory lap. Watch this.
American real wages are up 1.3% over last year and have increased each month since President Trump took office. And small business optimism, according to this morning's report, has also reached a 5-month high. Ignore the panicans and trust in President Trump. That is our motto here at the White House. The America First economic agenda is working.
And if the Fed follows through on that expected interest rate cut in September, we are likely to see even stronger economic growth ahead. Never get tired of winning. Up next, you will never believe who turns on Letitia James and Adam Schiff. Why this Trump hater says the two are on a political suicide mission and will land behind bars. Go ahead, click on that video you see now on your screen, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.